Hello, philosophers. I hope that you're well. I am here with the book I and Thou, which was published in 1923, and my copy is translated by Walter Kaufmann, whom I mostly know as like a translator and commenter on Nietzsche, like a biographer of Nietzsche, so it's cool to see his name again. I am not completely finished with this book. I am a little more than halfway through. I think there's 3 parts. There's 2 or 3 parts. And this is the first page in the first part. The world is twofold for man in accordance with his twofold attitude. The attitude of man is twofold in accordance with the 2 basic words he can speak. The basic words are not single words, but word pairs. One basic word is the word pair I, you. The other basic word is the word pair I, it. But this basic word is not changed when he or she takes the place of it. Thus, the I of man is also twofold. For the I of the basic word I, you is different from that in the basic word I, it. So, it's really interesting that there are sort of 2 ways of relating to people, and one is going to be this I, it. It's going to be a way that characterizes most people in sort of like a post-industrial information, consumerist kind of world, where we look at, and I kind of think of Heidegger here and like his idea of standing reserve, where we just sort of are very goal-oriented. Everything is a means to an end. We're seeing what we can use and we're being used. So there's like this world of objects, and that's sort of led by kind of an egoic self that is really limited in how they can relate to others and how they understand themselves and who they can even be and how real of a world they are living in. And this other world that is really able to be present, and where truth and realness and actuality and even people are created conditionally upon a very kind of sacred relating to one another. And I think this is really relevant for our day because it's about our mindset. And really, the argument here is that, we have to actually live in both of these worlds. We can't just choose the like relational world, because we have to, be an employee, or we have to be a boss, and we have to, do things in the world, like to get our groceries, and we have to, encounter people in services. And even though we can try to be as sort of like subjective and see, like, we can be housed in our subjectivity and see the person that we're encountering as also a subject and a full agent and a person that we're relating to and we're being present with and we're having eye contact with, etc. As much as we can try to do that, it's still going to be in this world where we need to like enact something, like we need to utilize a service that's being offered, etc. So I think that the argument here is to not only be as personable as we can in an it world, but to create a holy space where we are encountering each other without any objective in mind. Basic words do not state something that might exist outside them. By being spoken, they establish a mode of existence. Basic words are spoken with one's being. When one says you, the I of the word pair I, you is said to. When one says it, the I of the word pair I, it is said to. The basic word I, you can only be spoken with one's whole being. The basic word I, it can never be spoken with one's whole being. So there's a sort of like an ontology that follows from these two options. It affects who we are and who we can be. So basically, the idea is that the relational self is the one where we are more than just a persona. We're not in bad faith. Being is really being with. There is no I as such, but only the I of the basic word I, you, and of the basic word I, it. When a man says I, he means one or the other. The I he means is present when he says I. And when he says you or it, the I of one or the other basic word is also present. Being I and saying I are the same. Saying I and saying one of the two basic words are the same. Whoever speaks one of the basic words enters into the word and stands in it. So I was thinking about content creation, actually. And, lots of YouTube channels just have one person, like my YouTube channel is usually, unless I can find someone to collab with or have a conversation with me on my channel, it's gonna be me. And so, I, just like now, am going to be saying the word I, right? And even if I say the word you, Martin Buber is saying that I could be meaning I, it, and not I, you. So really when anyone is saying I, just I, and speaking to, let's say, a group of people, are we really standing in this feeling, this being, this state of existence that is truly and deeply and intimately relational, in almost even a sacred way? So he says that he says that the I, you, or the I, thou, when we are encountering another person, it's on the level of as if we were encountering God. So there's a deeply divine kind of sacred option here that is really the ideal option. Are we looking as a content creator, am I offering myself and speaking from a place of myself as commodity, trying to sell myself on my YouTube channel, hoping people will buy and consume what I'm offering? Or am I my whole person in a state of vulnerability and relational personhood, talking to you, an actual, someone who I can hold in an actual holistic, vulnerable state of dialogue and conversation? I think that to accomplish this kind of I-you or I-thou state of being, an ontology and relationality, reciprocity, it has to be intentional. I would say maybe not in every culture or every era of history, or even every stage of an individual's developmental life. But I think as adults in a modern world where, it's very much based on profit and survival and working and, what Byung-Chul Han would say, mere life, I think that it does have to be intentional. The life of a human being does not exist merely in the sphere of goal-directed verbs. It does not consist merely of activities that have something for their object. I perceive something. I feel something. I imagine something. I want something. I sense something. I think something. The life of a human being does not consist merely of all this and its like. All this and its like is the basis of the realm of it, but the realm of you has another basis. Whoever says you does not have something for his object. For wherever there is something, there is also another something. Every it borders on other its. It is only by virtue of bordering on others. But where you is said, there is no something. You has no borders. Whoever says you does not have something, he has nothing. But he stands in relation. So I just love that there's, 100 pages of this basically, because he really can get into sort of the thick of it. He's really creating this proposition with many layers, and it is quite poetic. I was thinking about especially when you see it on the page, how it's laid out and it's numbered as if in propositions. It reminds me of Wittgenstein's Tractatus to some extent. So I'll read one more just so we can get a taste today. We are told that man experiences his world. What does this mean? Man goes over the surfaces of things and experiences them. He brings back from them some knowledge of their condition, an experience. He experiences what there is to things. But it is not experiences alone that bring the world to man. For what they bring to him is only a world that consists of it, and it, and it. of he and she and she and it. I experience something. All this is not changed by adding inner experiences to the external ones, in line with the non-eternal distinction that is born of mankind's craving to take the edge off the mystery of death. Inner things like external things, things among things. I experience something. And all this is not changed by adding mysterious experiences to manifest ones, self-confident in the wisdom that recognizes a secret compartment in things, reserved for the initiated, and holds the key. O mysteriousness without mystery, O piling up of information, it. So I just love that. I think that's really interesting. So, and this is why this is just so philosophical to me, right? Because we're complicating something, we're talking about paradoxes, we're creating nuances. I think that, we can say that we can sort of set up a duality with materialism and spirituality and say that, well, the problem in the world is that we're too focused on the material, that people need to be more spiritual, that we need to focus more on the inner world and our, inner work of the psyche and read spiritual texts, etc. But we can still make an object out of spirituality. We can also make what he's saying an experience out of it. We can use it. I'm thinking about like my own spiritual journey and how, for a while I was thinking about a spiritual journey in like kind of an achievement way. In a sense, like maybe that's not the best way to say it, like a way of stages where, I need to do this work, whatever it is, meditate, I need to read, I need to analyze my dreams, etc. And then maybe I'll get to one stage of like, psychic improvement or development or whatever it is. And then I keep working and I keep working and I do it more and I do it more. And then I was starting to get kind of exhausted by this and depleted in my energy because I was just thinking, well, this is so hard and it just seems impossible. And I have this goal. I don't really know what the goal is, but I'm moving towards something. And it was almost like I was just making spirituality and sort of like this idea of self-improvement and individuation, etc. Like it can so quickly get to that realm of, well, how is this really different than anything that we do in the world of things? It's no longer about a relationship, but it's about meeting goals and putting in time and effort for something and pushing my body and my mind toward this. But, for this sort of I-thou world, really the I-thou relationship is beyond particulars. It's also beyond separation, and it's also beyond time and space, which we'll get into as we read like more of this. But we can be on our spiritual or psychological journeys and feel so separate from a goal that we're seeking and striving for. But I think that the divinity or the sacredness or the potential true awakening or awareness or enlightenment would also have to be relational. How can we be in good relationship with ourselves as well as each other? And it does have to do with the self and how we see the self, because Buber says that, if we are just in the I-it mindset, then we're not really people. We are not really acting as persons. We're acting as like a thing in our thinghood, like a machine that can be productive and can be judged on its output. And so that's why I think it's really helpful that he says that, it's not helped. Like, you can't really redeem things or objects or experiences or your use methods by adding something like inner or psychological or sacred or mysterious. It's still, you're just changing the realm of the it. All right, thanks everyone. I'll do more next time, just keeping this a bit short. Everyone have a beautiful evening, and let me know what you think about this, and have you ever read I and Thou?